What's good, everyone? This is Martin. I'm a 17-year-old music producer. I'm based in Uruguay, Periapolis. You might not know what that is, but it's a really small country. It's under Brazil, next to Argentina, in the Atlantic Ocean. I always have to think about it twice. I don't know why, but it's the Atlantic Ocean. So, I'm a music producer. I'm an artist. I've been making music for 6 years. I think I already said that, but whatever. And I promised a few months ago to my audience that I would make a full length course on how to get into music production. I am mainly like an ambient trap beat producer, if that makes any sense. I'm trying to explain it in a way that anyone who is not from my same background and underground can understand it. I basically blend in like urban trap sounds with ambient and electronic music, and that's what I've been making. So I love music production. I love music. It's what I love the most. And I figured, what can be best than getting other people into this amazing hobby and amazing way of life. So I'm gonna make a series on how to make not how to make beats, but how to get into music production as a whole. I'm gonna cover music theory. I'm gonna cover drum making, melody making, sound selection, sound design, controlling your DAW, learning certain stuff that I will be, it will come up eventually. And this is the first episode, is what you need to get into music production. My aim is to start posting every Friday or Saturday every week. I think it will be about 10 to 12 episodes. So, having said that, let's just begin. What do you need to get into music production? That's a good question to ask. Um, to be fair, the only thing you need is a computer. You don't need anything but a computer. So, you might be asking me, okay, what sort of computer do I need? And my answer to that question would be any. Any computer will get you right if you want to start in music production. You might think, oh, I have this really old computer at my house. It's really beaten up. It's from like 2002. You can get into music production with that. No problem. Because again, when you start making music, your projects won't be too much. They won't be too complicated. Maybe you tell me, I don't have a computer at home. Which would you recommend me to buy? So I would quite definitely recommend you to get a laptop. Why? Early on in your career, you won't be doing this much, but maybe in a few years down the road, or even a few months, you might start meeting people that also have the same hobbies and interests as you, and you might go to studio sessions with them or work outside of your house, and you'll want a computer that you can just unplug from your desk, take in your backpack, and take anywhere. So, if you were to put your money down and buy something, I would go definitely for a laptop, even if it's less powerful than a desktop or a workstation. It will be better down the road. Trust me, you don't want to have 2 or 3 computers, even, as I do. So, um, what computer do you recommend me? If you were to get a laptop, you have 2 options. I would go for the number one is MacBook. You have the new MacBook lineup. I'll be putting everything on the screen right now if I don't forget. If you don't like MacBooks, or you say, oh, Apple is overpriced, I don't like Apple, you can get one of these. I can vouch for these. This is a Lenovo Yoga 370. It's a ThinkPad. You've probably heard the word ThinkPad before. ThinkPad is like this series of Lenovo laptops. I don't know much about them. I just know that they are sturdy and they last a lifetime. I know my grandpa, he has this laptop from like Lenovo he got from me that used to belong to my dad like 10 years ago, and it still turns on. So Lenovo, great build, great computers. If you want to get a Windows computer, I would definitely get one of those. And if we were to get more into the specifics of what kind of computer do I need to get, I would say just get the biggest SSD size you can get without going too dumb. Like, get the biggest hard drive you can get, but not too big. What do I mean with this? Hard drives on laptops are expensive to upgrade. So usually, like, the jump from 512 gigabytes to 1 terabyte will be like $200. Don't do that. You should get the 512 gigabyte and buy one of these. This is an external hard drive, as you can see. This is actually an enclosure. So you buy an SSD and you put it inside of here, and boom, you have your own USB hard drive. And you can take it anywhere, and it's even cheaper than buying a pre-built SSD, like external SSD. What I mean with this is that you'll end up using multiple of these, not one, multiple. I have like a few, I wouldn't say a few dozen of these, but I have a fair amount of these. I have like 3 or 4 hard drives. And that's because, I mean, most people will tell you, oh no, just buy the biggest hard drive you can buy because you don't want to be carrying with other stuff. True, but either way, you'll end up carrying with other stuff. For the CPU, just get the most your money can buy. Just get the most powerful CPU your money can buy. You'll be good. Don't stress too much over it, because if you end up not having enough power in your computer, you can just stem out to samples and work with samples. So I wouldn't worry too much. I keep hitting my nose with the microphone. So we talked about the computer. We know that's really the only thing we need to have. Even if you have like a computer running Windows 7, you can use that to make beats right now. Just download FL Studio and you're good. What physical equipment we need to make music? What do we need to have in our home studio? Oh, on the floor. At this studio, we have equipment on the floor. The first piece of equipment you'll want to buy is a pair of headphones. Just on headphones, I would spend a fair amount of money. I would spend maybe $100, $150. But up from that, it doesn't really make sense, at least in my experience. I've been using these headphones and they're like $120 on Amazon for the past 3 years. And I have no complaints. I wouldn't change them. They're about to break because I've taken them like half across the world. I've taken these headphones to Paraguay, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, the US. And they're still running. They still work like as brand new. My only complaint is that I need to change them at some point because they're pretty beaten up from all the travel they have suffered. Like, look at this cable, it's pretty banged up. At some point you'll need one of these. And this little cute red box you see right here that says Seattle, it didn't say Seattle when it came from the factory. It said Focusrite. Basically, this is what we musicians called a music, like an audio interface. I was gonna say music interface. That doesn't make sense. It's also called a DAC, a digital to analog converter. So you can see here that we have a few inputs. We have this XLR, this shape right here. This is an XLR. We have a line input. We have a headphone jack, and then on the back we have 2 line outputs and 1 USB-C. It's very simple interface. Not many connections, not many plugs. I have a Apollo Twin over here that I would show you, but it's plugged in, so I can't. And it's a really big interface. But my point with this is that this interface has everything you need to start making beats. You won't need one right away. You should buy one of these if you're buying headphones that have a very high ohm rate, like very high impedance, because then they need more power to be run. But new laptops, they have DACs inside that allow you to run very powerful headphones without an audio interface. But if you want to buy a microphone, you'll need one of these because you'll plug in your microphone here. So what this does is that when you plug in a microphone, I cannot plug this microphone to my computer because my computer wouldn't know what to do with it. So the microphone, let's say it's like the microphone speaks English and my computer speaks Spanish. My computer could probably understand like, hi, how are you? But not further than that because they speak different languages. So this works like as a translator, if that makes sense. All the microphones and this little plugin here works for usually basses, guitars, synthesizers, any sort of synthesizer, pedals, everything. You can plug it in here. And these 2 line outputs that look the same as this one, it's for speakers. You can connect your speakers here. But basically what this does is when I plug in my microphone, when I plug in anything, it converts the electric signals this instrument makes into something my computer can read. It turns electric signals into ones and zeros. So you will need one of these if you want to plug in multiple headphones or multiple microphones or whatever. And last but not least, you might need these. This is a microphone. So this will be a little bit controversial, but do not get a USB microphone. Do avoid it. Basically, let me open the box right out for you. this is the microphone I started making music with. Back when I was making vocals, that was a long time ago, and I'm glad I forgot about it. But as you can see right here, this is a microphone. It looks like a microphone, but it's not a USB microphone. It has the same plug we saw right here. Okay? So, a USB microphone works just like this, but it has one of these inside of them because it needs to do the same. When you buy a USB microphone, you're basically buying packed a condenser microphone or a dynamic microphone and an audio interface. So just buy one of these, a XLR microphone and a decent audio interface, so you won't have, because if you, let's say you buy a USB microphone and then you need a audio interface for something, you will need to upgrade your microphone so you can plug it in here. So it's just very messy. Just save some more money if you're able to and buy one of these directly, and do not buy USB microphones. I strongly advise against it. This is the microphone I started making videos with, producing with, making music with, making vocals with. It's really scraped up, as you can see. It's not AKG's fault. It's my shock mount's fault. I bought one of those like super cheap, super bad shock mounts. A shock mount is basically this metal piece you put in your microphone that it absorbs all of the vibrations so that your microphone doesn't and you cannot hear them on the recording. And it scraped my microphone. So, I forgot what I was going to say. It was probably not important, but I still forgot about it. Yeah, that's pretty much what you might need to start making music. A microphone, a audio interfaces, and a pair of headphones. I would really recommend you first get a decent pair of headphones and then a decent pair of speakers, because to get good results with speakers, you not only need good speakers, but you also need a room that's acoustically treated and has furniture, and you need a decent audio interface, and you need to have your speakers placed correctly. So it's much more difficult to get it set up correctly. So I would definitely recommend, if you're just making beats in your kitchen or whatever, get headphones. It will make your life much simpler. And just so you know, my point with this prerequisite video is to make sure that everyone knows that it's not about the equipment. If you cannot buy the equipment, it's okay, because we have all been there, and don't stress over it, because you'll be able to get it someday, and that's what matters. That's what matters, and that's it. You don't need to be stressing on, oh, I need to have the latest audio interface, this pair of headphones, and this and this and this. No. Any computer that runs will be good for you. And you don't need to get like really fancy equipment, because you will not need it. All the fancy equipment, really, it's just extra. Like, let me show you, for example. I have over here, this is a synthesizer. This is a Korg Monologue XD. No, this is the Minilogue. I always confuse them. This is a Minilogue. And it's a synthesizer. It's cool, but if you're starting to make music, you don't need it. And this interface I have right here, this is a Apollo Twin. I cannot show it because I will break something. It's really cool, but you don't need it to start making music. So just don't really go over your head saying, oh, I cannot make music because I cannot buy this and this and this and this and this. You don't need it. As long as you have a computer that's connected to the internet, that's all you need. The second thing you'll need is, let me change to my screen. I have to turn on my mouse. It always turns off. Is one of these softwares. I have FL Studio 21 right here. This is FL Studio's latest version. Or Ableton right here. But there's many other options besides FL Studio and Ableton. You can get Reaper, you can get Reason, you can get there's many more. Logic if you're a Mac, Pro Tools, whatever. I'm gonna be focusing on FL Studio and Ableton because those are the two I know how to work with. And that's for the second video. In the second video, I'll be explaining everything on how the workflow works on both DAWs. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this first video, and I'll see you hopefully in less than a week. Not hopefully, I'll see you in less than a week. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you liked the video, and keep inspired. Bye-bye. So I figured I would show you a little bit of how my own studio looks like. This is the main desk where I spend most of my time. This is one of my speakers. This is the other one of them. It's my audio interface. And yeah, this is my computer and my screen here where I put my comments and my videos when I'm live streaming and stuff. And over here is my synthesizer. Every time I need to use it, I just put it here, plug it in. I don't have that much space. I have some equipment I might need over here, so my books and stuff. But yeah, and this is a piano over here. Let me be very careful so I don't show my very messy background. But yeah, this is pretty much where I spend most of my time. This is my microphone. So this is sort of the behind the scenes. You guys see this, and I see this. How cool is that, huh?